If you're looking to sell a home in Jonesboro, Arkansas, it's really not that complicated of a process, but it does need to be intentional. A lot of the stress that sellers feel come from not knowing what to expect. So today, I want to walk you through how we handle a sale step by step so that you know what is actually important before a sign ever hits the yard. Most sellers assume the first step is pricing. It's not. We walk the home objectively through the lens of a buyer to figure out, what is it they're going to notice immediately? Are there small repairs to make? Is it dated? How does it flow? How's this going to photograph? Is it going to show well? We talk about presentation, we talk about timing, we talk about expectations. We need to capture momentum going into the MLS, and it all starts with getting the presentation right. All right, step two, it's the part that everybody loves to talk about. It is pricing. And this is where, to be honest, most sellers make mistakes. A lot of sellers will overprice the house just to test the market. And to be honest, overpricing doesn't test the market, it tests your patience. Buyers today are more informed than ever before. They see other homes on the market. They can see what you paid for the house. They know what else is available, what sold, what didn't sell. We look at recent comparables, days on market, current inventory, or what your current competition is. And then we also look at absorption rate, which is a fancy word for measuring supply and demand currently in our market. But beyond those numbers, we talk pricing strategy. It's not just about the list price. We want to price homes to attract attention. Emotional pricing slows momentum. Strategic pricing creates leverage. All right, so we have presentation, we have pricing. Step number 3 for us is launching the listing. The first week matters more than people realize. When a home hits the market, that's when you get the highest attention. That's when you capture those buyers that have just been waiting on something to hit the market. That's why photos are super important. That's why showing availability is super important. And then also communication with buyer's agents. The first 7 days often determines the level of leverage you're going to have during negotiations. You don't get that first impression twice. And that leads us into step number 4, which is the offer and negotiations. An offer is not the end point. It's more like the midpoint. When an offer comes in, we don't just look at price. There's a lot more that goes into it than that. We also look at the terms. Is the buyer strong financially? Are they pre-approved? What are the inspection contingencies? How flexible is the closing timeline? Are there any red flags? Negotiation isn't just about winning. It's about protecting your position and managing risk. And that's where our experience and our structure matter. Step number 5 is contract to close. Once you're under contract, the work's not done. Now we're managing timelines, we're managing inspections, we're managing appraisals. And honestly, this is where deals can fall apart if they're not handled carefully. That's why our team stays proactive, we stay organized, and we stay ahead of deadlines. The contract may be signed, but execution is what gets you to the closing table smoothly. Selling in Jonesboro doesn't have to be stressful, but it does require structure. If you're considering a move, take your time, ask questions, make sure you understand the full process before you ever list. Clarity wins.